Am I the a-hole? I, 38 male, for telling my fiancee 27, female, her wedding dress choice is way too extravagant, and suggesting alternatives. We are getting married in July of this year, the venue is booked, and the wedding is pretty much sorted. Emma has been researching dresses, and has a little scrapbook of lots of dresses she likes for ideas, but is now looking to buy. All that's left to get is the bridesmaid dresses and her wedding dress. We jointly put aside $10,000 each for the wedding. Everything is paid, and we have $6,000 left over, which I think could go towards the honeymoon on top of the honeymoon fund we already had. We aren't the extravagant type at all. Then comes the time for Emma to pick her dress. I know everything is more expensive when it has the term wedding attached to it. What I wasn't expecting was a $950 dress plus a $120 veil. I'm using my dad's old tux he used for his wedding to my mom. Just had it taken in a little. Emma can't use her mom's dress as her and her mom both say the style hasn't aged well, which is fair. I had a quick Google around at dresses online and there were so many just like the one Emma wants for like $50 to $100. I'm not trying to get her to cheap out on her dress, but she will literally wear it once. One dress for over a $1,000 is just insane. That would fund our honeymoon. I tried to show her some dresses I found on a recommended app called Wish and others on websites, but she was having none of it. She is very slender, but apparently wants it specially fitted. It turned nasty unfortunately, because I said I refused to drop such a large amount of money on a dress, and she argued that she is using her own money for the dress. Which isn't strictly true, as we ain't about to marry, and our finances will be joined. Then her mom had to get involved. They offered to pay for the dress, but it's not a case of not being able to afford it. It's a dress. There are identical ones online at a fraction of the cost. I thought she would be ecstatic to learn there are identical dresses for a fraction of the cost, but she was really angry and upset. Am I the a-hole here? Is there something I'm seriously missing? Because after we argued about the dress, Emma has been extremely cold towards me. Then yesterday she said if I want her to cheap out on her wedding dress on her wedding day, that she needs to really consider if we are a good match for marriage. I'm blown away that she would say that over a dress. I told her she's like a toddler throwing a tantrum over a sparkly toy she can't have. That was a mistake, as she left to stay with her parents, who called to tell me I'm much more than an asshole. Am I the a-hole here? You're the a-hole. You say you don't want her to cheap out, but then you say you want her to buy a $50 minus $100 wedding dress. That's cheap. That's cheap even for a regular dress. Those cheap dresses you're finding online will look terrible in person, and are the source of so many disappointed women and jokes. Wedding dresses and their tailoring are expensive. $1,000 is actually a low priced dress. Regardless of dress type, though, your reaction to her, calling her names, and deciding you have veto power, is the real problem. You should be solving this issue together. If you can't, maybe it's not time to get married yet. When I saw him complaining about $950, I was like, did he drop a zero? Any traditional wedding dress at a real bridal shop, even a chain one, is going to be well more than OP's $50 to $100 budget. My dress was on last call off the rack clearance at a budget bridal chain, and was a simple thing, no beading or anything, and was $350. But because it was off the rack, it needed fairly substantial alterations. And that was 8 years ago. OP needs to let this one go. Let her get her dream dress. You'll have the cash for it. And yes, for the love of God, shut up about having it specially fitted, as in alterations. It's necessary for dresses to fit properly, or she's going to be miserable all night. My sister ordered a dress off one of those Asian websites where you select a dress and send in your measurements, so it's custom made for you. And when she got it, it looked exactly like it did on the website, which many of us know isn't always the case, but it turned out to be cheaply made. The boning broke and ended up jabbing her in the ribcage all night, and when she got home and wanted to get it off, the zipper was broken and our mom had to cut the dress off her. OP, please don't ask your fiance to order a dress off a sketchy website. Maybe she can find something cute at a thrift shop or buy a white prom dress if she's open to cheaper deals. But honestly, $1,000 is completely reasonable for a wedding dress. Don't forget, she is putting her money into this. She should be able to make some spending decisions. There's simply no way to have one of those dresses at the prices they are offered and not have them be made from cheap materials. You can't make this stuff from machines. A lot of the sewing, fitting, bedwork and other accessorizing must be done by hand. There is a reason why most people who fit or customize clothing require many in-person visits to make sure everything is perfect. Wedding dresses can be ridiculously expensive because wedding culture drives up the price for all wedding related stuff. But custom-made wedding dresses made of silks and satins and lots of fancy materials and beading is just not something that can be done mega cheap. And it's worth mentioning, the people making and selling these dresses are, generally speaking, small independent woman-owned companies who put a lot of work into what they do and deserve to be paid well for their labor. People talk about the big wedding industry like it's a bunch of mustache-twirling billionaire CEOs out to scam people out of their money, and I'm not saying there aren't scummy people in the industry, and I'm also not saying that nothing is overpriced, but a lot of these vendors are honest people who work a lot of weird hours to make people's weddings special. They should get paid. I'm also not trying to defend the societal pressure to have a huge wedding to impress your peers. No one should feel like they have to spend a lot of money and have a big fancy day if they can't or don't want to. It's absolutely fine to have a low-key wedding if that's what your jam. But there's no shame in wanting to have the nicest wedding you feasibly can. Something alarming I read that I haven't seen pointed out yet, it could be somewhere, but I just haven't seen it, is when she countered with spending her own money on the dress and he said, "It's our money, since our finances will be joined soon enough." Paraphrasing. Emma, think about it. If he's already that possessive and cheap over money you earned, telling you it's our money and demeaning you for wanting to spend it how you want, imagine what he will be like once the finances are joined. I don't imagine you'll be able to spend a single dollar on anything for you without having to convince the gatekeeper. Please consider what is best for you. If this is a situation you feel confident about, power to you and good luck. If not, I encourage you to leave. Either way, best of luck to you. I'm a guy and I know absolutely nothing about wedding dresses. I don't know what Wish or any other place that sells them, unless they have the word bridal or wedding in the name. I'm also a typical guy who doesn't pay attention to clothes or fashion really at all. But I've purchased a suit or two in my life, and that alone tells me enough to know that a wedding dress for $50 to $100 is outrageously cheap. And I don't mean inexpensive, and certain to be terribly made and terribly designed, and should be avoided at all costs. I don't see how Op could be so dumb and wonder as well if he's trolling. OP is the a-hole big time. This has to be a troll. No one on earth would budget 20 grand for a wedding then expect their spouse to buy their dress on wish.com. Like, are you kidding? Buying a $10 t-shirt on Wish is a gamble. I ordered a Michael Jackson pillow, and I got a pillowcase with a tourist's picture of Michael Jackson's statue at a wax museum. That wouldn't have been so bad if a random tourist wasn't also in the picture lol. It ended up being really funny because I didn't have any hopes or emotions attached to the kitschy pillow. But I didn't think anyone orders anything serious off Wish. A wedding dress, LOL. Info. Have you ever shopped for anything at all in your life, ever? He probably buys Christmas gifts at the gas station. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe for more videos. See you all later.